as adults. Until then, everybody else's we just dismiss. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
So at the end of the film, as I mentioned to you before, you're in conversation with John Joseph, your mentor and your competitor, really, in this Ironman race. And you ask him a number of times, actually, well, is this enough? I mean, now that I've done this, have I just not switched one addiction for another? Do I have to keep doing this to validate myself? He says yes. It's not clear what you say at the end. You kind of leave it open. So where are you with that? Like, so you've done this great Ironman thing, and then yes, and you put yourself through the hero's journey. You went back to the site of your suffering and your dysfunction, and you achieved something that you didn't think was in you, and that was celebrated by yourself and a lot of other people. But then, having come to the end of the film, and you ask yourself this question: well, is this enough? And or do I still have to keep proving my value? And his answer is yes. You have to keep proving, and you have to provide yourself with a challenge. I'm not going to tell you what my answer is, but I'm curious. Have you come any further to an answer with that question of yours? Because you don't answer it in the film.
Yeah, we kind of leave it open, as well as him with the forgiveness issue as well, which I'd like to get your thoughts on too. But so when I got into this Ironman culture, you realize that, it is, you can see kind of addictive tendencies here.
Well, he says, your friend says that the kind of people drawn to this Ironman culture are people who have a lot of work to do with themselves.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah, a lot of deep work to do on themselves, And then I see the people there, and there's, recovering alcoholics, and there's people who these are their only friends and family, and this is the bond. And then you look at John's MO. I mean, he's 56 years old and has done 10 of these things. And right after the race, I mean, literally, I'm still sweating profusely. He says, we're signing up for a full, which is the double. What
the full thing,
which is what I just did.
In 10 months or something, or whenever?
Yeah, it was like 6 months later. And the trainer is saying the same thing, when are we doing the full? Because she obviously trains addicts. And so I called John in that, because there's something I noticed, and I said, well, guys like us that are always doing this stuff, like, when's enough and when's the time to be? Because also your interview with me put that really in context. It's like, well, Brian, you're searching for validation for other people. It's never going to be enough until you can just be and not have to be somebody. And so John, without skipping a beat, has his decision. He's kind of in his mantra zone where he's like, yes, of course, that's how I learn, that's how we grow. And you can tell me what you think about that later. What have I realized? Well, I'm not yet addicted to Ironman. So to say that I'm not doing another Ironman is me, being in control would not be fair. But am I addicted to my next accomplishment? Definitely, and that's my workaholism as well, and I have similar problems I'm dealing with you, and you're right, the sacrifice is your wife and your children, and for some people their health and all of that. I've managed to kind of engineer that in my work day. Maybe there's some other things I'm sure I'm forgetting, but this is a big question for me, and even though I know it's part of my character, changing it's another story. And so I'm aware of it. I'm trying to be more present and be more content with what I am.
No, let me interrupt you. I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry. Not sorry, I just say that I am. Trying to. Well, you want to analyze that word, trying to?
Okay.
This is an exercise I do in my workshop, okay? I'm going to ask you to try to stand up.
Okay.
Try to stand up.
Try to stand up. So there is no trying to stand up. I either stand up.
Trying. You either stand up or you don't stand up. There's no trying.
So I'm basically still lying to myself that I'm trying to do something. But how will I know when I'm no longer a workaholic?
You'll know.
I'll know.
And rather than trying to be something that you're not, just acknowledge how it is for you. Just keep acknowledging it, and keep looking at the impact.
Okay.
And if you're not sure about the impact, talk to your wife. And really.
She usually lets me know too.
Yeah. So don't try to be anything. That's inauthentic. You might as well just again, go back to that first step. I'm acknowledging my powerlessness over this right now, and then see where you can go from there, you know. But trying, I know. Look, I'm speaking from bitter experience. It's not like I'm criticizing what you're doing. I just know that it doesn't work. So the trying is really a self-delusion, is what it is.
Well, let me hit you with another angle, and maybe you've heard this from other addicts before,
Yeah.
but my obsession is why we're sitting here together today, which I think is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the cameras are on or off right now. And the fact that they're on means that this could help a lot of people, and et cetera. So is that a way of an addict justifying his behavior, or is that something I have to kind of also honor and say, some amount of obsessive behavior or workaholism created something that has a greater good, and that...
Well, so here's the question. Is it true about you that you're genuinely interested in transformation?
Yes.
Is it true about you that you're genuinely committed to helping people become enlightened?
Yes.
Is it true about you that you resonate with the suffering in the world and you'd like to alleviate it?
Yes.
Yeah, those are all true. That's the real you. The obsession is optional. You don't have to be obsessed to do all those things. That's your true nature. That would not diminish one whit if you gave up your obsession. It would just make you more effective at what you do.
Okay.
Because the obsession would no longer be depleting you and diverting you. So the fear is, I think I hear the fear or the concern behind your question, which is that if I gave up the obsession, I'd give up this great work that I'm doing. No. If you gave up the obsession, if you're able to let go of it, you'd just be that much more present and conscious and effective at what you do, even more so than you are now. So the obsession is not equivalent to your genuine human commitment.